Before World War II, the Sosonky forest was outside the borders of Rivne. Every year, Jews celebrated their Lag BaOmer, a religious holiday accompanied by a bonfire.
In the past, the entire city, old and young, some on foot, some using the services of carters, would go to Sosonky on this day. They have picnics and play games there. The Germans were probably well informed about the life of the Rivne Jews, because they chose this particular place for the execution.
This was written by Rivne resident Haya Musman. The Sosonky tract was not chosen as the place of the murder by chance. First, it was located outside the city, which made it possible to carry out the executions without the residents of Rivne knowing about them. Second, Sosonky is a natural depression. Therefore, by placing guards on its borders, the Nazis minimized the Jews' chances to escape and survive. The murderers carefully prepared the crime. The main role in it was played by the SD detachment led by SS Sturmbannführer Hermann Ling. Since this unit was small in number, approximately 20 people, the 315th Police Battalion, which was stationed in Zhytomyr, the 1st Company of the 69th Police Battalion from Vinnytsia, several companies of the 320th Police Battalion from Lutsk and Sarny, and other units were transferred to Rivne. In total, 1,500 murderers were involved in the crime in Rivne. The preparation of the crime included other elements, in particular, digging of the ditches that turned into mass graves. Here is the description by experts who conducted a forensic examination in Sosonky in March 1944.
A grave 100 by 10 meters long and 10 meters deep is located on the hill of the first grove from the road.
In addition to this huge ditch, Soviet prisoners of war dug on the Nazi orders 4 smaller pits, 5 by 5, 4 by 6, 4 by 5, and 5 by 6 meters. An extremely important element of the preparation of the murder was misleading the victims. This was achieved due to the announcement of the occupation authorities. The Jews were ordered to arrive at Church Square on a specific day and time, bringing with them not only documents and essential things, but also food for 3 days. The doomed people believed that they were facing forced relocation. No one could imagine that people would be killed for practicing their religion and speaking the language of their parents. The doomed people did not know that they would be killed for being born to Jewish mothers. The Jews of Rivne, who had been subject to persecution and violence since the first day of the Nazi occupation, fulfilled the order of the authorities. Eyewitness Yuri Novakovsky later, in December 1944, described these events as follows.
On November 6th, the day before the execution, the Goebbels Commissariat, headed by a German, a certain Dr. Bayer, informed the Jewish committee that on November 7th, at 6 a.m., all Jews who did not have special work certificates were to appear with their families, including children and the elderly, at Church Square in Hrabnik, the northeastern part of the city. I live opposite the square, and I saw all this happening before my eyes. It was still dark, It was raining and snowing when people began to gather. The day before, on November 6th, the entire square was surrounded by troops. There were Gestapo officers, Ukrainian police, and SS servicemen there. At about noon, the square was filled with people. At that time, the Germans announced that everyone should leave their belongings in the square. People did not yet understand what was going on, and they thought this was a mass robbery to which they were already accustomed. A huge pile of things appeared in the square. At that time, a state of emergency was declared in the city. It was forbidden to appear on the streets. There were a threat of being shot on the spot of this. Only Jews were allowed to go towards Church Square. When all things were left, the Germans took the people to a place called Sosonky. Their pits had already been prepared.
From the testimony of Христина Новаковська, née Leah Botker, who managed to survive the shootings in Sosonky.
We were led along 2 roads to the village of Sosonky, which is 2-3 kilometers from the city. Now we were escorted by a triple chain of police and SS servicemen. It was impossible to escape. As we approached Sosonky, we realized that we were coming to our deaths. A terrible picture appeared before our eyes, with which even now, when the threat of death has long passed, the blood runs cold. The ditch was 100 meters long. Logs were put across the ditch.